Cutdown day, big takeaways. Myles, let's start with your favorite team, your hometown team. They made a little news, didn't they?
They did make a little news in terms of keeping 4 quarterbacks on the roster currently, which, I mean, like, that's fine. And the reporting from Mary Kay Cabot of Cleveland.com was that they're going to try to trade either Jameis Winston or Snoop Huntley, and they're going to keep DTR behind Deshaun Watson. But I mean, if it's me, I'm not getting rid of Jameis Winston because number 4 right now is an unreliable quarterback. You don't know if he's going to be available, first of all, and you also don't know if he's going to play well. So if you have somebody like a Jameis Winston, who we know is a good veteran backup, right? Jameis Winston can at least run an offense. Last time we saw Dorian Thompson-Robinson, he really couldn't run an NFL-style offense, which is why the Browns had to then go get Joe Flacco, who, while he played great in spurts, right, also had a turnover problem. So if you're going to play a different quarterback and it happens to be Jameis Winston, hell, at least you're dealing with turnover problems again, right? You're not unused to doing something like that. So I would not really understand the thought process behind moving on from Jameis Winston, especially given how well he's done as a cheerleader for Deshaun Watson. There's been nobody who's been a better cheerleader for Deshaun Watson throughout the course of the offseason. And I think that presence would be really good to have in the Browns quarterback room.
Is there a point, though, where that's too much? I know that people love Jameis Winston because he's a little kooky. Is it a little over the top? Is it a little passive aggressive? Is it almost like that's his way of saying you will fail? Like this guy was, think about Deshaun Watson, 17, 18, 19, 20. He was on track not just to be Offensive Rookie of the Year, but maybe an MVP candidate before his ACL went in November of 2017. He was spectacular on a crap team in 2020, 4,800 passing yards. Would have been an MVP finalist if the Texans hadn't been horrible that year. He doesn't need to be propped up by Jameis Winston. So I don't know. It was a weird turn because not that long ago it was, hey, maybe they're going to trade DTR, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, second-year player that, showed some flashes in the preseason last year. When it was time to play, it wasn't quite as flashy. And then it pivots to, well, maybe we'll trade Jameis Winston or Tyler Huntley. So they've got 3 quarterbacks on the roster who have made it to a Pro Bowl, which is kind of weird because remember Huntley was like the 17th alternate. Nobody wanted to go to the Pro Bowl games that year, and he ended up making the team. But clearly they're not going to take 4 into the regular season. When Kevin Stefanski was asked about it yesterday, it's clear, and he did not do a good job. We could play a little poker with Kevin Stefanski. He did not do a good job of concealing the intention. One of these guys isn't going to be there. Is either going to be traded or they're going to realize we can't trade any of them. We got to cut one of them.
Yes, but that's the thing about the roster flexibility. And, if you have 4 quarterbacks, it is more likely that you're going to be able to trade one because it is a premium position, especially because if we're talking about Huntley or Winston, right, those guys have starting experience. And if you need a backup quarterback, that's one of the most important things that you can have, starting experience. You've been on the field before. You understand what it means to run an NFL offense and to play in an NFL game. So that aspect, I get why the Browns did this because it means that they have a little bit of leverage. But again, I mean, Mike, I think we'll get you on the couch a little bit here, maybe. But like, anytime somebody exudes positivity, you're like, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Jameis Winston just exudes positivity.
Wait.
Like, not everything has to be cynical. It's just who he is.
I don't
think there's anything beyond that. It's just he's a positive person, Mike, and that's okay.
Okay, you and I have had these conversations about balancing cynicism with naivete. Yes. These weird pregame, let's go win one for the Gipper speeches that he does for preseason games.
Doing that all his life.
For preseason games, I don't remember seeing any eat a W's before preseason games. It's ridiculous to do it before a preseason game. Preseason game is glorified practice. It's ridiculous. Well, then maybe the Browns have decided after 6 months with Jameis Winston, this guy's a goofball and we don't want him on the team. Maybe that's why they're looking to trade him. Doesn't really fit with what we're trying to do here. A little over the top, a little too kooky. Think about the Deshaun Watson, Jameis Winston vibe. Maybe Deshaun Watson's decided, get this guy the hell out of here. I can't take this guy. He's making me nervous. This guy won't shut the F up. Because Deshaun Watson's not that way. I mean, when you're kind of quiet and reserved and you're constantly around somebody who won't shut the hell up, you get to a point where you're like, tell that guy to shut the hell up. There's one way to shut him up. I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to understand what's going on. That's all. So
I know.
And Jameis Winston's a character, and we embrace characters. But when you're trying to win football games, sometimes that kid that won't shut his damn mouth is getting in the way of what we're trying to do.
But he's supposed to be there to help support the starting quarterback. I mean, if you can get, I think that, when you're trying to motivate people, which is what he does, it's like I said, I think that you're taking a very cynical view of something, and that doesn't surprise me, but he's just a person that exudes positivity. And yeah, he's kooky, but that's just Jameis Winston. If you didn't know Jameis Winston was kooky before signing him in March, where have you been since he was at Florida State a decade ago?
Well, and let's be extra cynical. They couldn't bring back Joe Flacco because the fans would be chanting, "We want Flacco" week one against the Dallas Cowboys.
Yes. Well, that I agree with you.
So we agree on that. We cover a sport where bullshit is everywhere. So it's not cynicism, it's reality. Things are always not what they seem. There's always something that's percolating below the surface. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.